Okay, so this is going to be a screen capture just to run through how I've gone about using Microsoft Sway to create what I'm calling an applicant pre-arrival package. The idea behind it is to give applicants, but we can also do it for level 0 going to level 1 into level 2, level 2 into level 3, some programmatic level either pre-reading or learning or just information. It sort of acts as the boot camp thing that we're thinking of doing. It's something we could do every year, and it can be hosted on program pages for current students if we're doing year bridging or level bridging, and it can be emailed out as a link as part of the admissions and recruitment comms bursts, because it would be publicly accessible. So I'm going to show you what it is that I've got up here. So I've got various sways here. So the way that I got to Sway is by going to my email, and at the top of your browser-based Outlook you have this waffle, which is how you access any of your Office 365 apps. This brings up the various ones we've got here. I then clicked on Sway and it took me to this point. Okay, so everyone has access to this, and this is why I chose to use it. All right, Sway is a fantastic way of displaying and collating and enhancing information and media. So this is the one that I've created. Now I won't go through the exact process of how I created it, but I'll bring up it and what it looks like on the design phase, and then show you what it looks like in practice. So this is kind of the dashboard design page that you have. I've built this already by adding just a series of boxes. Okay, it may look quite complicated, but really you start out with a new one with this first box at the top, just a normal title box. You can add pictures into the side. You can type in text and make it bold or italicize it, that sort of stuff. And once you've got that, then you can add below any box, and you have various choices. Now it's sort of up to you to play with. I would advise, for consistency in this instance, that at least in a department, everyone copy the same format. So if everyone had a copy of a complete one and then just swapped out the particular information, whether it's videos or images or program specific information. But it's really sort of play with as to what you think might work. You can upload files. You can just put in normal text. Media is really a great one that I've used a fair amount in this. You can also do groups of things, and I'll show you an example of the grid that I've got in a video one. So what I did was create, it's really a group, a way of creating a block that then groups certain types of media, whether that's videos, pictures, a combination of the two, text boxes, that sort of thing. You can have them stacked, so this automatically them to be sitting on top of one another. Got the gridded version that I'll show you. You can have stacks a bit like going through Polaroid photos, sort of putting them behind one another to see the front one. And then a slideshow is what we see on a lot of web pages, as a photo is up or an image is up for a few seconds, and then it transitions to another one. So these are all the different things you can do. What I've gone with is a title page, just a welcome to you in the department, just a visual. Then something more specific about which program they're on. So everybody would keep this one the same at the top. Then you have biomedical science and what it is. So applicant pre-arrival package, or app, because I thought I'd have some fun with an acronym. Then just the point of what it is, which is almost a title slide in itself, and some more specific information about it. And then we go into things like, and what I've sort of gone with is some generic information, because a lot of the stuff that students get bombarded with when they arrive in induction week is you've got a program and levels and modules and components and assessments and elements and units and moderated fails and all this sort of thing. So some generic information would be helpful to have there, and a lot of what I've got on this example isn't obviously what we would use, as you'll see with a video later on. I've included as an example, just to show how you can use it, an audio recording of me just talking through some stuff, and this might be a way of having, say, the program leader's head and then an audio going with it if they didn't want to do a video. Then I've got this grid format here. which has and these are generic videos that I found online. So we've got what is biomedical science. The video that I made a couple of weeks ago, just as part of the Keep Warming campaign, as it were. A video I found, a generic one about UE made by some reps, and then my how do assessments work. And this is just an example of showing how videos can be laid out as a grid and they can be watched in any order. Then we go into some of the learning, and this is to have either some very basic stuff per module or some taster learning, something to maybe help bridge the chemists who didn't do biology, the biologists who didn't do chemistry, to go over some very fundamental stuff for each module. Now this is what will require the creation of these videos or mini lectures just for 5 minutes or so by the individual module leaders or a designated member of their module team at level 1 or level 0 if we're doing it for applicants into foundation. I've then got, so that's a title card. Then this would be an example of one of the lectures. And here I've got a random, it was just searching Bing as to a Catherine Ryan thing from Comedians Giving Lectures popped up. But this would be replaced with one of our staff giving a quick lecture. Then I've got an example here of where we could actually insert a Panopto video. So if someone had a lecture capture or did a lecture capture, you can use the public link for that and paste it as a link rather than a thumbnail video. And then I'll show you these now in what it looks like. So this is really the drawing board. Okay, it's very easy to tweak things about. You can change the text. I can I can delete this one and add new pictures. So image. There you go, so it's added a new one there. I would then delete this one by clicking on the bin button and replace it with one there. So I'll delete that. Gives you the places to search. So if you're searching for something, you can look on your OneDrive for Business. You can search Bing. You can make it. So if we do suggested searches, you can search in your OneDrive. You can do Bing images, and you can say don't do Creative Commons license. If you want to use copyright material. So there's all kinds of things you can search for your flashcards and stuff like that. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like at the end. And there's 2 ways that you can, or 3 ways really you can view it. There's either where students or the person viewing it scrolls across. Okay, they can go back and forth. And here we've got the audio clip. So there are all kinds of terms that you're going to hear when you come to UE. Modules, level. So that's just an example there. So here we've got, what was that title card, some information, some more specific information. So this could be an introductory section. Then we've got this grid here that has the 4 videos, and they can be played in any order, anytime you want. And this is just coming off my YouTube channel, this one. And then we would get into some of the learning. So this is a title slide just to give them an idea, and I liked the idea of the head being in gears to get the brains into gear because it relates to anatomy and physiology. This would be a short lecture, just 5 minutes, ideally lecturer in front of a wall projecting it on, or in front of, so it's not just head and shoulders or a disembodied voice like Panopto sometimes can be. Here is where that link was there, so you could have that instead of the video. Okay, but it's not as engaging and interesting as having a thumbnail of the lecture going on. Then here is a little quiz that I made. So I made it in Microsoft Forms. I embedded it using an embed code that I can show anyone how to do. And you can do it for any kind of basic information, 1 for each module. Doesn't count for anything. The marks don't go anywhere, but they get the right answers when they've completed it. Just multiple choice. You can have multiple option, multiple choice, sort of anything that's automated. There we go. And then you submit that, and then you can view the results. And it tells them if they got it right and if they got it wrong. So it can be a bit of pre-quizzing so they know where they are, sort of show where their strengths are, where maybe they're not so strong. And that's basically it. The other way that I would show it to you is I prefer personally the web page scroll down version, okay, like this. So it makes each screen more of its own thing. It stretches out pictures a little nicer. It makes the grid a little bit nicer. It just looks better overall. So really that's all it is. It's the kind of thing that I know I say it a lot, but once you get in there and you start playing with it, it's very easy to figure out how the little nitty-gritty stuff behind the scenes works. Once you can preview it, play it at any point, and then you click on edit, it goes back to where it is. You can make any changes and they'll instantly be reflected. Once you're done, it will sit there forever. It saves automatically in your sways. So if you then share it and do anyone with a link can view, that can be a public link that you would paste out. You can get an embed code for it to put it on a web page or put it into an email so that the person that gets the email, the recipient, sees it as is, as an embedded engaging thing rather than just please click on this link and be taken to a web page. And then for editing it, you could have, as a program leader, could make it available to module leaders by doing those in your organization with the link. So you have to log in with a UE staff account, give them edit rights, and then copy that link. And that link, if you email it out to the staff that you want to add stuff, they can change the videos and the text to suit what it is that it needs to be for that module. Okay, so I hope you found that relatively useful. There is a lot more to go into it, but this is just a showcase of what it can look like. But it looks quite professional. It's very easy to do just with a bit of play. We can maintain consistency with it. It's a UE approved core business tool, and therefore it has IT support. It has support of some higher level groups. I'm on some of those groups, so I can feed stuff into them, get any tips, any help if anyone struggles. But more importantly, it's something that we all have access to, and therefore it is a consistent way of us doing the same thing with various twists and tweaks to suit our programs. Okay, right. Thanks very much.